Last week, students at J.S. Water School in North Carolina held a mock slave auction where students were sold off by a designated quote unquote slave master. Here are the horrifying details. So the story broke last week when Ashley Palmer, who is a mother of one of the students at the auction, revealed on Facebook what had happened to her son. She said, "Our son experienced a slave auction by his classmates. And when he opened up, when we were made aware that this type of stuff seems to be the norm so much that he didn't think it was worth sharing. His friend went for $350 and another student was the slave master because he knew how to handle them. We even have a video of students harmonizing the N-word. Since when were children so blatantly racist? Why is this culture acceptable?" This week, Palmer released a follow-up post after the students at fault received only minor consequences. Palmer wrote this: "Students received a 1-day suspension for the slave auction. No action taken yet pertaining to the video. Today at recess, the slave master accidentally hit my son with a baseball 4 times upon his return to school. Now he has decided to retaliate by making up things that Jeremiah didn't say to attempt to get him into trouble." She also went ahead and threatened to take legal action against the school, which is definitely something that I would have advised. Now, Sheriff Mike Robertson, I'll be calling your office today to discuss the legal options for the assault and continuous harassment. It's a shame my child isn't safe at school. Where is the staff when this is happening? Now, when my son gets fed up, will they protect him the way they have protected this other child? The day after Palmer's second post, the school superintendent, Dr. Anthony Jackson, released a letter condemning the incident, but of course not mentioning it specifically. We have become aware of recent incidents involving students using racially insensitive language and offensive imagery. I want to assure everyone that we are working with and will continue to work with families of students who are targeted in this way. Those who are acting outside of our expectations will be held accountable. Wow, that is a lot, but not a lot in terms of the school actually taking action. Jay?
It's disheartening, man. Schools used to officially hold slave auctions throughout the country, and it was a title they should have never given to any of those events. And the way that it usually worked was that they would auction off people, and and the people buying them would buy them for a day, and obviously you couldn't do anything you wanted, or obviously not. But they would carry your books around and hopefully innocent things like that. And so my school had one. We talked about it in the production meeting this morning, and but there was no racial overtones as far as I could tell. And no one ever said the N-word, etc. But that's still already awful. And that was the 1980s. Here we are 40 years later. Now, in this case, it's the students doing it, but and it's almost worse because that means it's more hostile. It's not sanctioned. It's not like, oops, it was inappropriate, wildly inappropriate to call it that. No, this was overtly racial with the chanting of the N-word, etc. I mean, look, I honestly, I think Trump screwed up this country so badly. It's not that the racism wasn't already there. He just gave them permission on a national scale, and it became part of the culture that if you're a right winger, it's like glorious or like something to be proud of, to be overtly racist. And I don't know if that's owning the libs or whatever, to be monsters, but being deplorable became something that they were proud of. And this is the result of it, and it's disgusting.
The mom is absolutely 100% right to be asking, what the hell is going on at the school? Where the hell are the teachers and the staff? You have kids having slave auctions, kids harmonizing the N-word, like Richard Nixon, Mel Gibson, Paula Deen, and Charlie Sheen got together to form a racist barbershop quartet. What's going on there? I worked in education and I worked in childcare for several years. And I know that kids can be ignorant little gremlins and they can say awful and hateful things. But it is your job to step in and correct them, to teach them to do better. And the fact that the school, seemingly was, either unaware of the problem or was allowing this to go on, it just makes me wonder, would anything have ever happened? Would any, punishment ever happen? Would any, anything have been rectified if the mom hadn't found out and, gone public with this? And the punishment that these kids did receive was suspension, right? So they got to stay home from school. And we all know that bigotry is not innate, it's learned. And oftentimes when bigotry is coming from children, it's learned from the parents. So now you're just sending these kids to be home with their parents, who are probably more mad that their child was punished than that their child was racist.
Yeah, no, that pretty much sounds right to me. And also, if you look at the demographics of the school, it's about 65% white, and I think around 12% black. And the thing is also, it's not one of the first incidents of racism at this school. There was a report of a black student at Chatham Central High School around the area that was surrounded by white supremacists who chanted the N-word at her and dropped cards on the floor and had racist language. Also a photo on social media appearing to show a white Chatham County student lying on the ground while another white student simulates holding a gun over them. And the photos captioned Black History Month. These are the things that are going on in this community. And so just as you pointed out, it really seems that that school and those schools there are just a reflection of the adults in the community. And so I think that they're the ones who really should be looking in the mirror and deciding, how do they want to be remembered? What do they want their legacy to be? Do they just want to be racist, which is cool, just own it. But as far as I'm concerned, they shouldn't be exposing these young black kids to this.
No, yeah, look, I gave a speech in Wisconsin almost a decade ago about how I believe in fighting the culture wars, because a lot of people on the left would say, oh, the culture wars are terrible, and I can't believe the right wing does them. And my point was, no, we need to engage and fight back. Otherwise, their side gets entrenched and no one ever pushes back other than being outraged. No, right-wing culture is poison. And we have to try to fight it to the point where everybody knows if you're a right-winger, you're a hateful, immoral person. So they've been calling the left immoral for as long as I've ever lived. And why? Based on nonsense, based on ridiculous things. Oh, you were born gay, so I'm gonna call you immoral for who you are. No, the gay person is not immoral. You're immoral for discriminating against them. And I'm tired of right-wing immorality. And they're consistently immoral. They're consistently bad people. They teach their kids to be bad people. And then we're supposed to just accept it. Well, I don't accept it. I think their culture sucks. So when you teach your kids to harmonize the N-word and be slave masters, well, you haven't done a very good job, have you? Oh, are you gonna cry about that? Oh, I get to tell my kids whatever I want. I know, because you're a terrible person. So, and by the way, look, the left would be horrified if their kids ever did anything like this. In the old days, before Trump, the right wing, I guess, would pretend to be horrified, but at least there was some value in them pretending to be horrified. Nowadays, they're brazen about it. I don't know those parents and I don't know their reaction, but I'd be shocked if they were like really mad at their kids and how dare you, you're right, the kids should be punished and they should be punished severely. They'll never say that. If on average, the right wing basically circles the wagons and goes, so what, so what? No, we should have slave laws. So what? We should say the N-word. Free speech, right? Okay, that's because you're a bad, bad person. I'm tired of babying the right wing. Their culture is, yes, literally deplorable. And by the way, now they own it. I mean, Adrian, you want them to own it, and they did a little bit, right? And they're proud of being deplorable. Okay, good. Then we're all agreed right-wing culture is awful, immoral, and needs to be changed as soon as possible. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.